Welcome back, folks. So it's been a minute, but it is time to get back to the videos, and we have a matchup preview for this week. We're going to dive right into this. Holy crap, Reese, how did we get here? 0-6, the Rally Monkey, facing Cheeseburger Lenny and Friends, who is undefeated since acquiring that team name, Cheeseburger Lenny and Friends. Now, breaking down this matchup, Reese has a snowball's chance in hell, I guess. If Lamar, Zeke, and Josh Jacobs all have the greatest days they've ever had, Reese might score over 90 points. Maybe. That's not going to be enough because I got my team pegged for about $140 this week. I got great players and great matchups across the board. The thing to look for this week is the return of the Dak. Dak Prescott is going to crush the Detroit Lions. This is going to be a brutal beating. Reese is going to get killed starting tonight with Alvin Kamara. My bold prediction on this one, though, Reese, Mr. Wideouts Don't Matter, has the shittiest set of wideouts maybe in league history. One of my three wideouts, either Chase, Adams, or Lamb, will outscore Reese's three starting wideouts combined. Combined. It's going to happen. So, of course, Cheeseburger Lenny and Friends gets the dub. Now, we're going to move on to Blue of Earth versus Mixing Up My Herb. John sat on Nuke Hopkins this entire time, and now he's counting on him to bail out his crappy wide receiver situation with Diggs on bye. I don't see it happening. I think Nuke kind of fell off a cliff last year, and honestly, he wasn't worth stashing for this long. But, John's 4-2, so he could afford it, I guess. Justin Herbert, I don't know what's wrong with him. Really don't know. He's had 4 straight bad games in a row, I guess, since he hurt his ribs. So maybe he never really healed up. I think Keenan Allen sits. I don't think he plays because they have a bye week next week. He's already talking about sitting. So that means you'll probably be rolling out Wan'Dale Robinson, which is gross. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is absolutely unplayable at San Francisco, but you didn't manage your team well, so you have all these bye weeks this week, so you're just kind of screwed into it. On Tony's side of things, let's get one positive thing in for John, okay? Joe Mixon ought to shred the Falcons, okay? So there you go. There's your positivity. The Green Bay Packers are a bunch of chumps. They absolutely suck on defense. I don't know why the hell you would play them, even against Washington, not a playable team. Much better matchups in free agency. Terrible decision. But there you go. Now, on Tony's side of things, I think Geno gets right this week against the Chargers in LA. I think he's going to have a good week. Kareem Hunt, man, how does everybody's running back suck so bad? Oh, that's right. Because Sarasota Capital Strategies has all the running backs in the league. You have me, Senior, and Joe basically have all of them. None of you guys have anything else. So there you go. Tony does have a returning DeAndre Swift in a nightmare matchup at Dallas. Not expecting much there. Kyle Pitts is, of course, the most useless and overhyped tight end in the history of fantasy. Don't expect much there. This is an ugly matchup between two bad teams, but bold prediction. I'm going to say that Romeo Doubs gets right this week, over 80 yards and a touchdown, courtesy mostly of a 60-yard bomb. He's going to catch a 60-yard touchdown. En route to Tony getting the win over John. I know Tony hates it when I pick him to win because he usually loses. But sorry, Tony, I'm picking you to win this week. I just have to. John's team's a disaster. He's got all these guys on bye. Without Steph Diggs, John has no chance. Justin versus Jason in the battle of Double J. We've got on Justin's side, man, how are your wide receivers this bad? Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore. Oh, that's right. Because you finally did a trade and you got absolutely roasted on it. Spit roasted both sides of the deal. Cortland Sutton for A.J. Brown. What are you thinking about? And Dalvin Cook for Brees Lightning? Unbelievable. Terrible trade for Justin. We drafted Justin this mega team, and he has to just punt it away. He just has to go out and ruin it. You finally make a trade and you botch it. So on the positive side, Dalvin's on bye, so he can't hurt him that badly. Cooper Kupp is on bye, which that's why your wide receivers are right up there with Reese, is just being completely awful. I don't love Melvin Gordon, but I do think they're going to feature him a lot more this week than they did last. Saquon Barkley is, of course, a mega star. Basically, the only thing keeping Justin afloat is Saquon and Kupp. Kupp is on bye, so I'll let you read into that what you will. Spent up on the New England defense playing the Bears, who don't pass the ball. Kind of need to pass to get interceptions, turnovers, things like that. I think that is a much lower ceiling play than people would think. Similar to Baltimore, when Baltimore just ran all over them. Similar situation. On Jason's side of things, returning Amon-Ra, tough matchup, but it doesn't matter. He's awesome. Tough matchup for McCaffrey. Doesn't matter. He's awesome. I don't see how in the world anybody's trusting Najee Harris right now, but I don't see that you have much of a choice. So you're going to start Najee. Joe Burrow, great matchup against Atlanta. He ought to shred them. Chase is going to get involved. Higgins is going to get involved. You might even see Tyler Boyd get involved. Great matchup for Joe Burrow. Chris Olave tonight is the only show in town for the Saints, so he's either going to be seeing so much attention that he does nothing, or he's going to pop off. My bold prediction in this one is got to be Jeff Wilson Jr. That's right, Jeff Wilson Jr. will be the highest scoring running back in this matchup, because I think he gets into the end zone 2 or 3 times. So en route to Jason beating Justin and continuing his climb back to relevancy. Now, Jared versus Tony Sr. with no Josh Allen. So Sr.'s been coasting by having some mega performances from Josh Allen. This week, no such luck. He has Aaron Rodgers, who is among the worst quarterbacks in the history of football at this stage in his career. He's a total dumpster fire, absolute joke. If Senior wasn't a Packers fan and he put his fandom aside, he'd pick up anybody else. Daniel Jones is a better fantasy option than Aaron Rodgers at this point. But he's going to go ahead and roll out Rodgers, get his 12 points, and, move on from there. Lazard will probably catch 30 yards and a touchdown because he's basically a big possession tight end. DK Metcalf, you guys heard me say Geno's going to get right. So how does he get right? DK and Lockett, both in for big weeks. Kenneth Walker, love that kid, man. He is awesome. Great running back. That was really fortunate for Senior when Penny went down. Walker is a top 10 running back rest of season. I don't want to hear it. Argue with a wall. He's top 10. Dameon Pierce after the bye against a soft Raiders defense. Eckler at home against Seattle. Kittle at home against Kansas City. The Bucks against the Panthers. This is a nightmare scenario for Jared. The 1 week Josh Allen is on bye, Senior has the easiest matchups he's had all season. So don't love that for Jared. On Jared's side of things, he's rolling with Tua over Mahomes. And I know a lot of you will think that that's wild. But is it? Pittsburgh is one of the worst secondaries in football. Mahomes is at San Francisco. I actually love the decision. I think Tua has a big week. Michael Pittman Jr. going to kill it. A.J. Dillon should get right against Washington. Will he? I don't know. Kelsey, of course, a must play, even in a tough matchup at San Francisco. Bold prediction in this one: Tua will double up Aaron Rodgers, at least double up, but it's not going to be enough. Senior beats Jared. Sorry, Jared. Lastly, we have Joe against some douchebag. Joe, Derek Carr is a great fill-in for a bye week Jalen Hurts. I love it. Great fill-in. I don't know why Yahoo hates Travis Etienne so much. They always project him at 6 or 7 points. Guy goes over double digits every week. So, I mean, that's an under projection. He'll do just fine. The big question for Joe, for a couple big questions. Number one is this the week where Jonathan Taylor remembers how to play football? I don't know. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe Taylor just misses his daddy. Maybe he just wants to come home to daddy. I think that's probably what it is. Send him back home, Joe. He belongs with his daddy. Now, Mike Evans and Mike Williams, the two Mikes, suck. They're garbage. They've been garbage all year. And I love seeing it because I tried to trade for both of them earlier in the year. Joe wasn't having it. And now they suck and you couldn't move them if you wanted to. Deebo Samuel at home against KC. Boy, if he doesn't do it here, it's time to just fully panic. He needs to have a mega game in that one. On Steve's side of things, I assume you all know who I was talking about when I said some douchebag. Steve has Kyler Murray for some reason. I don't know why he keeps trotting out Kyler Murray. Short week, Thursday night game against a somewhat tough Saints defense. I mean, they've been very generous to opposing quarterbacks, but this is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray blows. Not expecting much at Kyler Murray. Nick Chubb, again, not expecting much. He's a regression to the mean candidate, and it started last week. So, Chubb had been just killing it every week. And, he's not a guy that plays more than 50% of the snaps. He doesn't catch passes. He's a great RB1, but he's not going to be an elite top of the board number one running back. And Steve should have cashed in on him when everybody was viewing him as the best running back in fantasy, because he's definitely not. But one smart move Steve did make was the Breece Hall trade. Breece Hall is an animal, and I fully expect him to way outscore Dalvin Cook rest of season, especially when you factor in Cook will likely miss 3 or 4 games at some point. So, bold prediction. My bold prediction in this one is that the number one scoring wide receiver in this matchup is Tyler Lockett, not Deebo, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, none of those guys. It's going to be hot Lockett. He's getting deep, going to get in the end zone twice, and en route to Joe taking down Steve this week. Even with Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert on bye, Joe gets the dub. There's your matchup previews for this week. I will see you next week.